episode 73 of the OVW podcast, the official podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. My name is Jack.
Hey guys, I'm Brian Hines. How's it going?
Today we're getting into all the action from OVW Rise, OVW TV 1318, emanating live originally from legendary Hot Point Davis Arena on November 14th, 2024.
As always with us in the chat room is the disembodied voice of our producer, Tiny Brian.
I'm not actually in the chat room. I'm just sort of sitting over here with a piece of paper.
That's fine.
But hi, guys.
Are you chatting with people on that piece of paper? Because then we have a lot more questions.
They told me not to tell you if I am or not.
Noted.
Good.
Noted. Malachi might want to start making plans for a home. Before we get into all of the action from a great night of television, seriously, cannot wait to dissect OVW Rise from last week here with you guys today. Let's get in some tour updates. Do I sound good to everybody? I feel like I have nothing in my headphones.
That might be your headphones. You sound great to me.
Okay.
How does he sound to you, Brian?
Oh, that's much better.
Everything's really, really hot now. Everything is really loud.
I'm really deaf, apparently.
What?
That's
Let's not get into that.
That's not fair.
Anyway, you can find OVW every Thursday at Hot Point Davis Arena. We've been over this. Doors open at, 6:05?
6:05.
6:05.
First match, hopefully at 6:15. Action no later than 6:30.
Right.
Rise at 7.
Rise at 7. 7 to 9. Except for that would be Thanksgiving week when we have Thanksgiving Thunder at Hot Point Davis Arena on Tuesday, November 26th.
Is that next week?
That is the next time it's Tuesday. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay, so the next time it's Tuesday. That is the. Do we have a date for that date yet?
The
The 25th.
24th or 5th.
It'd be the 25th. Today's the 18th.
Yes.
Or today's the 19th, so the 26th.
No,
I had milk
yeah.
that expired yesterday,
Okay.
so I know it's the 19th.
Okay, well, then there's that. We also have, I'm looking forward to this one, OVW Seasons Beatings at Country Boy Brewing Tap Room in Georgetown, Kentucky.
No better way to get in the holiday spirit.
That's right. That is on December 13th, and
And you
OVW.
can feel like you're watching a wrestling match in the middle of Terminator 2. You know, with all that weird equipment and the catwalks, it just looks like the most industrial place in the universe.
It's a cool little spot to see a wrestling match.
Yes.
And OVW Winter Warfare in New Kensington, Pennsylvania, January 25th. You can get tickets for all of these shows at OVWTix.com.
Moving fast, I like it because we've got a lot of action to get to.
There is something we need to do before we get any further.
Oh, and what is it?
We do need to remind everybody about the challenge issued by Doug Basham.
Oh, yes.
That's very important.
Yes.
Do you want to say that at the top of the show?
We want to talk a little bit about our favorite wrestling promotion that is not OVW, that being Spot Monkey, because, Brian, you went back to yet another Spot Monkey show.
Yes, I did. I was at the show at Georgetown High School on Friday. There were tons of great OVW stars there. I caught up with Freya. That was her first time at a Spot Monkey show. It was
Was
nice
she
to
over
see
with
her.
the crowd? Oh, wow.
Kind of. She was, but she was a heel.
Oh, she was a heel.
Yeah.
She's a heel.
It was interesting because I mean, instinctively, I'm there cheering and stuff, and a lot of the guys in the very front row were talking a lot of smack, and she put them in their place, which was nice to see. But she wasn't the only OVW star there.
Especially this year.
Yeah. There were.
Cowpoke Ball.
Yeah, that's right. Cowpoke Paul was there.
I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you. Freya, I love you, but we got a new toy.
Was there a snake in his boot?
There was not a snake in his boot on Friday evening.
That is too bad.
But I am looking forward to speaking with him. I told him that we were really big fans of his, and we would love to have him come by and talk to us sometime. So we've got that to look forward to. But among other people that were there, Leo Fox had a match, Carson Drake, and Dalton McKenzie was there too. So
yeah, I heard you caught up with Dalton a little bit. Good to see him, I imagine.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, it's always good to catch up with old friends, but it was really good to see him. It was a good night. There was a good crowd, and I saw a lot of familiar faces that I know from my days back there when I was sponsoring those events. And anytime you get a chance to get out to a Spot Monkey show, I highly recommend it. I think the next one is on December 6th in Batavia, but I will double check on that and confirm details and let everybody know.
That's a week before the Country Boy show, so you get a little double dip there if you live in the an area that's drivable between those two places.
That's right, yeah.
You know, I was going to say something, and you know, Dalton is one of the hardest hitting members of the Revolution and
true.
former tag champion.
Mm-hmm.
We hope to see him sometime soon. So I know the fan nation, even though he's one of the ones we like to boo, you know, they're still thinking about him.
Yeah, we're still thinking about you, Dalton.
Yeah, somebody had asked about him in the fan zone the other day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping we see him back on TV. I don't know what's going on.
Did
He's
you?
still
Yeah, I was gonna say
floating
you
around.
didn't get any kind of an update
No,
from him, right? No,
no.
they always play stuff pretty close to the vest when it comes to that kind of thing. But we miss you. We miss you, Dalton.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
And I guess to circle back to our 2 points of two topics of conversation before the ad break here. Doug Basham at the Bourbon Brawl said, unbeknownst to us, we had no idea he was going to do this, and we really appreciate it, Doug. I personally appreciate it. He issued a thing that said a challenge, an open challenge of sorts, that said if we can get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube before Christmas.
that was what he said. I think he may have said the end of the year too. He said a few different things, but Christmas 1,000 subscribers seems to be the goal.
Right.
Yes.
And it would mean a lot to us to get there.
Oh, that would be huge.
And we can't do it without you guys, our fans that listen and our fans that are already subscribed, hopefully. And if you're not, please, I hate saying this. I always click out of the YouTube videos when they're about to say this. But please like and subscribe to our channel and like our videos. It helps the algorithm. It helps so much. And it gets us to, the dream. Used to be that kids wanted to play basketball or be a rock star. Now kids just want to be a YouTuber. It gets us to every kid's dream, which is monetization. 1,000 subscribers is a huge thing for the algorithm to start suggesting your videos more, to start growing your base, and then grow your monetization.
Well, that's true, but that is not the only motivation.
No, that is all the technical side of it.
Monetization is not the only motivation.
No, it might not even be the biggest one, considering what else Doug said that night.
Yes, if we can get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers by Christmas, I'm hoping we can do it way early. But if we can get there by Christmas, he said that he would bring the OVW back to Bourbon County. He said that he would put every title in OVW on the line.
He did.
Think about that for a second. Think about how many times we as viewers, as podcasters, have seen an episode or a pay-per-view where every single title was on the line.
Right.
All of them.
This is a pay-per-view quality show. Not that they all aren't, but title matches
Yes.
at a house show.
That's almost unheard of. The
And
only time
for
I've
every
ever
title
seen
to be
for every title to be on the line, yes, that is, for my experience, unheard of. And the only time I've ever seen a title change during a house show was at the Manchester.
right. And
Cal Hero.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying is I know that they're willing to do it.
Yeah.
So anything could happen this night, including Doug Basham wrestling a wrestler of our choice.
That's true. That is the icing on the cake. If we can make it to 1,000 subscribers by Christmas, Doug Basham said that he would get in the ring with anybody in the locker room of our choosing.
And I'll say this because I think we could work on this. We will, if we hit 1,000 subscribers, we will put up a poll so that you guys can tell us a little bit who you would like to see that night, and maybe we can get it done.
Get some input on it.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, maybe we can. There's no guarantees in wrestling, but
Card subject to change.
Maybe your guy. We get a little bit of data from you guys on who you would want to see, and we look around and see what's available. And maybe we can get some input on it.
I would like to sweeten the pot.
Okay.
Okay.
OVW Nation, if you can get us to this 1,000 subscriber goal on the YouTube, I will get a tattoo.
I thought we already went over that.
Well, we haven't talked about it in a while.
You
So
need to get one at 1,000. He gets one at 1,000.
yes, at 1,000.
Can we make it our choosing?
I was thinking the logo, probably the belt.
Oh, well, that's something.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. But we have to get there first, and we
Yes.
can't get there without you. So if you could take a second and find us on YouTube and subscribe to us, that would really, really help us out.
If we hit 500, I will go a month straight of shows on Wednesday night and whenever else we record our regular shows of only referring to it as the loaded baked potato glove.
Oh, wow. That's maybe the first time Jackman's ever actually said that phrase in any OVW programming of our programming. So, yeah, for him to actually start using it, get us to 500, folks.
Nah, F it. I'll do it for 350. I'll do it for 350.
needs about
haggling, just like that.
Yeah, I'll do it for 350. We're about 100 away from that right now, I think. 200? No,
Yeah.
We're about 200 away from that.
Yes,
right
we
now.
are.
So, 1,000, and listen, guys, we know 1,000's a far away, but we want to get there, and we know it's possible, and we know it's possible through you guys' help. For 350, I will only refer to it as that phrase, and I will go out of my way to use it.
Yeah, good.
I love it. Let's make him play along with our dumb games, folks.
Yeah.
But
you guys know that will make me genuinely so.
He'll be so upset.
I've freed up so much space from my life for self-loathing that for 350 subscribers, I'm willing to get all that self-loathing back. I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, and it's good to have smaller goals.
Right.
I mean,
Yes. Right.
talking about 1,000 seems like it's
A lot.
forever away, but 200 is manageable.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to break it up into increments of excrement.
And 200's only like 40 away. So do you have something for 200?
I can come up with something.
Okay.
I went to Ohio this weekend, and I took a lot of things back with me, but I brought a lot of other things that I still have packed, and I haven't unboxed them all yet. But, yeah, I could definitely find something for us when we hit 200.
No, I meant like a thing for like, if I have 350, he has 1,000. We can drive to 200. What's something you would be willing to do?
We have tomorrow to talk about it.
Yeah,
so
we'll
give you the
come
night
up
to
with
think
it.
about
We'll
it.
come up- yeah.
We don't want to waste all that
yeah.
time tonight
Yeah.
because we only have an hour.
Then we can hit 200. We can hit 350. Then we'll figure out. I'll do something at 5. Maybe you do something at 7.
Sure.
And then we'll keep up in the ante until Tiny Brian gets a tattoo.
So go subscribe. But we will. Let's get into you're about ready to get into Rise, gentlemen.
Let's do it. You want to do it right after this,
Right.
or
That sounds great.
all right?
Hey, folks, Tiny Brian here with you. And listen, you've got a business. I know some of you do. You got a side hustle. Maybe you make art. Maybe you own a wrestling promotion. Whatever you do, we can help you make your business known to our listeners. So you can reach out. You can just DM us on any of the social media platforms, and we'll be happy to talk. We are super reasonable because we are still building to our first 1,000 subscribers.
Right. We're asking for nickels and dimes, basically.
Get in on the ground floor with us. Just DM us at OVW Podcast on X, Facebook, everywhere, Instagram, Threads. We get them all, and we hope you will. And now, back to the OVW Podcast.
Welcome back to the OVW podcast. Okay.
So are we on MySpace too, or no?
Does that still exist? Now I'm having
sure it
headphone
probably
problems
does.
over here. What is going on today with the headphones?
Last time I checked MySpace, we would had to have a band to be on MySpace. It was kind of a music
that
discovery
was
service.
back when I was in a band, yeah. So I guess that tracks.
So let's dig into it, shall we, gentlemen?
Yeah. Take it away. Take it away, sir.
So the very first thing we see in the beginning of this episode is Doug Basham being accompanied to the ring by Katie Gannon.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, you're hearing a lot of people in the OVW audience that night chanting, "We want Al," because we still want Al.
We want Al.
Yeah. And
Also Head. But
well, yeah, there's that.
Malachi, do you like that one back there?
Wow, it took a year and a half, but I finally made my son laugh.
And you got him on
I
a,
have never heard
cunnilingus
you.
joke? Got him on a fellatio joke?
Yeah,
Wow.
we've been doing this a year and a half, and I've never heard one peep out of you on camera, on mic, and then here there's a random.
That wasn't even a great joke.
No,
Yeah,
it
it's like-
wasn't.
Honest.
It's like Deuce Bigelow European Gigolo level
It
joke.
really was. It was just sort of some filler.
That's why I was surprised to have heard anything. It's like, really?
So, are Katie and Doug OVW's new power couple, gentlemen?
While Luke and Layla are gone, the vacuum is open.
Yeah, there's a space there.
So I kind of what did you read on the Katie and Doug only having one microphone and Katie kind of every time she needed to talk? What did you read on that?
Maybe they need more mics.
I kind of thought,
I really don't think that, but that was just my first.
I kind of thought that it was the beginning of kind of a very, very physical, obvious, noticeable physical way of showing you that this is the beginning of, like, Katie's going to eventually usurp Doug Basham.
There's some kind of struggle there. There's
Yes.
already some kind of conflict.
She's been around the job for a week. There's already a conflict.
Well,
Yeah.
we know from Von Melton or whatever his name is, the commissioner guy, the guy we only see in videos.
David Vox Mullen.
Yes.
There it is, David Vox Mullen. We know he is not.
Von Milton.
We know he is not precisely comfortable with Doug Basham in this role, based on some of the things Doug did in the early days of the revolution, having the name and basically being what we know of it as today.
Sure.
But I mean, he's done pretty good. He's done well these last few weeks. He is putting on good shows. The Revolution's not out there spoiling every match. So there's really not a lot of reason to replace him at this point.
I figured there would have been a lot of that, and there really hasn't. And I'm pleasantly surprised. And to his credit, he is knocking it out of the park as far as what we see on a weekly basis from Davis Arena.
Yeah, I've said it before. I've said it again that, like, this faction had to be different, I think, before the crowd completely just logged off.
Yeah.
Like, after kind of a year of super strong factions, the Revolution is truly a breath of fresh air, like in the way that OVW handles factions.
Yes.
The belts will go up, they'll turn hands, it's EC3's not there. It's just a lot. They've got a lot of good things going for them.
Yeah.
Very few videos recorded in basement romper rooms.
Yeah, when Doug records his vertical video, or horizontal, what is it?
It's vertical.
Vertical. When he does his vertical video, he's on the beach.
Yeah, he's in the Caribbean.
EC3's at a Best West.
Did you guys get? I was hoping we would get some press credentials to that Revolution media retreat that he was on. That's what he said he was on when he came on this week. We didn't get an invite. Can you believe that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yes,
Really?
yeah.
Now we come to mention it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe you too. So let's move on to our first match of the night here. Right? Are we done talking about?
I mean,
Well, the original segment at the beginning of the show basically
'cause
sets
we
up
haven't
Tony
even
Gunn
got-
with Dustin Jackson.
We haven't even gotten through Cal Hero getting kicked out.
Yeah, he gets
Yes.
kicked out at the very beginning of the show. He's told to leave the premises, and we are told that Shotgun Tony Gunn will face Dustin Jackson for the media championship later on in the evening. So we already have that to look forward to.
Right. And, I mean, that kind of, for me, obviously, when that match gets announced, it has to be main event of the evening.
Yeah.
and of course it was.
And, of course, it was.
Yeah.
And
So they set the stage right off the bat. We know how we're going to end the night. We just don't know how we're going to get there between the beginning of the show and the end.
Right. And again, a little less obvious than maybe a couple weeks ago, Cal and Tony just being in every match in one shape, form, or the other. But it's still, like you said, opening up what's going to happen, giving you context for the entire evening at the very beginning of the match here, or of the matches. So first match of the evening proper. Because Tony Evans and Jay De Niro have their thing too.
Yeah, they have I would say they have some words, but true to
Sorry,
form.
the cats are on, and I just got baby blue fever again last week. So
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah.
We'll try to keep this,
It's 45 minutes relative to us before they come on. So
and we've only got an hour, so keep that
Yes.
in mind.
Yeah.
But they have an exchange in the hallway. Just as we're about to hear what Jay De Niro has to say, he is promptly hushed yet again by Superior Tony Evans. But you can tell that he is clearly not happy with that.
As I was watching it, I was like, it's happening tonight. Like
I was excited.
There were several points tonight. Dustin's match at the end of the night, but Tony and Will as well.
Yeah.
Or the Tony Will Jay De Niro thing going on had me on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Loved.
We'll get to that here in a minute.
Yeah, but this is the beginning of.
Yeah, this is the beginning of that. But our first match is Be All End All Ashton Adonis.
We've been seeing quite a bit of him recently.
By Leela Feist.
For the first time.
At
least new to us.
Yes.
Yeah, brand new gimmick as far as OVW Rise is concerned.
And the bomb Eric Surge, who we've seen a couple times here as of
seen
late.
him quite recently
Yes.
as well. I'm going to go. I had one thing with the Ashton Adonis with the valet. I liked that he still opened the ring for her. He had a valet. She was his valet. She was there to cheat.
Well,
but
most valets are.
He didn't go, the Macho Man side of it.
Right.
He went the suave kind of side of it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that because I just think, maybe we could just be over like the valet always getting picked on. Or whatever,
Yeah.
Like maybe we can just not do that.
Maybe
anymore.
it doesn't have to be that way anymore. I was glad to see that for her, though. And it's interesting that you bring up Macho Man because I read earlier today that Miss Elizabeth would have turned 64.
Man, all-time great Kentuckian Miss Elizabeth.
That's
Kentucky Hall of Fame. Jack Minogue's personal Kentucky Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Well,
Same here.
both them, Macho and Miss Elizabeth.
He did spend a lot of time here, but she was.
Oh, he's not from. He wasn't.
She was born here.
No, she was born here. He was born in Columbus.
Oh wow.
So
Ohio, Brian Hines, Ohio Hall of Fame.
Oh,
that's
look
right.
at that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what you guys think of this match between these two relative newcomers?
Well,
so
kind of wondering what happened here toward the end. I mean,
Yeah.
everything looks solid. Ashton Adonis looks solid. Eric Surge,
to be honest,
he was ready to go.
From what I've seen of these two guys so far, it was about the match that I thought they were gonna have, which is
Or about 3/4 of it.
which is not like me like shitting on them or anything. It's just kind of it was what I thought it was gonna be. I've seen these guys' moves. I kind of knew what they were gonna come out and do. And then the ending happens, and we kind of have all sat and watched this a couple of times.
It was
Yeah.
basically WrestlingMatch.exe has stopped working. I don't really understand.
Yeah, I just went back and started the end of the match again, and I don't know. I mean, Ashton Adonis was disqualified because Leela Feist helped. Is what I am hearing
That's what
on
I
commentary.
guess it had, but like it was just like a weird pacing for that to be what it was.
Yeah.
And maybe here as we're watching it and we've all watched it and we're discussing it for the first time, it's occurred to me, maybe it's one of those things, and we all have had these moments where Davis Arena knows what's going on and it doesn't always like translate to television.
Oh yeah.
Maybe something
We
didn't
didn't manage to make it on Thursday, so this may be.
Maybe, yeah. We were in the chat, though, which was a blast. I'm gonna try to go in the chat for Overdrive on Tuesdays regularly, guys. So if you guys are around.
That's true. That was fun. We
were all three in the chat.
We were all three in there at the same time.
Yeah.
And
which
it
is,
occurs
a
to me
first.
that's a good way. But that's also going to OVW for us. There's 300, 400, 500 people in the room, but there's several hundred more that are in the chat, and we could go hang out with them too.
Well, and yeah, and I just enjoyed it. I don't do a lot of that like online community chatting. You can tell that those guys were really close and like opening and knew each other. They had jokes with each other. And
Oh yeah. When you see your favorite people in the chat room, everybody says hi, asks how you're doing, and then some people take shots at each other like real friends do in real life, and it's just as vibrant a community as going to Davis Arena.
And the every time the Wrestling is a Passion We All Share commercial comes on, everyone it just puts up drink emojis or it's fun. They've got a good little vibrant community. I liked it. But yeah, I think that we're going to do that, by the way, for anyone listening, on nights that we decide not to go to Davis, travel to Davis, especially as, winter's right around the corner. We're all going to jump in the chat. I'll be actually on the channel's handle, and you guys will
Because
be
Jackman's not on social media.
right. And you guys, and I don't want you guys to know what my burner account's called, and you guys will be on under your names.
Right. On YouTube, you can generally find me under Heinz Society.
And I'm Tiny Brian everywhere in the universe, so. Which is TYNIBRIAN, in case you ever wondered.
That match ends with a ref stoppage, throws out the match.
Shane Chess, right?
Shane Chess.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm now that we've sat and discussed it, I'm going to chalk it up to something kind of happened in the arena that we maybe didn't understand from the television perspective.
Gotta be.
Yeah. Just seeing this from home, something just didn't make sense. So, yeah, I'd say that there might be an element of that. But who's to say? Either way, the result remains.
Yeah, looks like the bomb Eric Surge took home the victory.
That's right.
Good for him. He's
Yes.
been doing well in his
Hey,
early
good
days.
for you.
He has. Still want to see that tag team. Him and Star Rider.
It's him and Adam
Adam
Revolver
yeah.
that have the matching gear.
Yeah, and didn't Star Rider just get yellow and purple and gold?
He's wearing
gear
the
too?
black now. He's doing
Yeah.
the Revolution.
I think
he's
that's
in an emo phase.
I think at the pay-per-view he did the purple and gold, but that was a pay-per-view.
I want to say he was wearing the purple and gold mask when he was on commentary later on in the episode, but I could be wrong about that. We'll have to check as we
move
moving
through.
along. Yeah.
Let's get to the second part of this drama of Jay De Niro and the loaded baked potato glove wielder.
Jay De Niro is the wielder of said glove. Tony Evans
Tony Evans and Jay De Niro
are the ones having.
Oh, but it wasn't
marital
Tony Evans.
issues.
I'm sorry.
Right.
This is the first
This is
time
the
I
next
think we've
chapter
ever. Yeah.
in the saga of
Those two.
But it's Tony Evans happens to not be there. This time it's my boy, Will Austin.
That's right. And Will shows up to make fun of Jay De Niro, and I don't know that would be something that I would do.
No, he shows up to kind of float out an offer to Jay De Niro.
Yeah, to maybe assist Will Austin in this match with superior Tony Evans.
He says specifically, you could be an asset, your own man.
I noticed that.
Which, for Will Austin, it's the mind games. And here's the thing: is I think that Will, if he had a manager, his character would be a lot more lenient and a lot more. He would let him be his own man, because Tony Evans ultimately, when you look at his character motivation, it's control. It's controlling people talking. It's controlling the crowd. It's controlling Jay De Niro. It's controlling, the belt. Will Austin is not there solely for control. Will Austin is there solely to win. Period.
In a almost chaotic, neutral sort of sense.
So Jay De Niro being his own man helps Will Austin a ton, because not only will he have someone that we know who is super capable, we have someone who is a dog on a chain right now, right?
Yes. And you can tell that he's just, itching to get free.
And the hired gun relationship may be the only kind of relationship that Will Austin can successfully maintain.
Right.
In the context of OVW.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think
it could work.
I think it could work. We'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, we'll just have to see.
Match number 2, Ryan Von Rocket here with making, I guess, I would say the full transition away from the Ryan Von Rocket of old.
The Can't Stop the Rock, Ryan Von Rocket.
The Titantron was different. The vibe was different. It was a little bit more serious, but it was good to see Ryan Von Rocket out there. And I felt like he was, had a renewed sense of hunger to, get back into it and win this match.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he is battling Leo Fox here tonight. I wonder if Ryan Von Rocket, before we hop directly into the match, we'll go back to Ryan Howe.
And drop the Rocket altogether
How
over
could he?
time.
Calls the Titantron guy and says, I'm coming out to Ryan Howe now.
Listen, Eric,
yeah,
you're a good guy,
You're a good guy.
but call me Hal. Maybe. I mean, actually when the commentators were talking about him, they were just calling him Von Rocket.
Yeah. So
maybe not.
Maybe not. He's battling Leo Fox. Leo Fox, thanks for listening. You caught up. That's one of the several people you caught up with over the weekend.
Yeah, at the Spot Monkey show.
He heard that we were talking about him, and I'm glad because he's a big guy that we've been talking pretty good
glad
about
it was.
We've been talking pretty good about
I'm
him.
glad it was positive things because he might have beat me if they weren't.
Well, and I'm sorry that he had to. This is ultimately, if I'm sorry for anything that I said while Leo Fox is listening, it's that we've gone on and on and on and on and on and about Cowpoke Paul. And he's sitting there right in the car with him. We're like, this guy's my new favorite wrestler. Book Cowpoke Paul to be the world champion. And he's sitting right there.
Nobody said book Cowpoke Paul. Come on.
Yeah,
I'm
making fun of ourselves. I'm making fun of ourselves.
And the weird pond. I think he wore a blanket one week.
Yeah, no, we love Cowpoke Paul. But Leo Fox, they're not offering the same thing. Right? They're not offering.
They're both
two completely different
people.
wrestlers. Two completely different wrestlers. So
how did Ryan hold up against Battleborn Leo Fox?
He didn't.
Unfortunately, it wasn't Ryan Von Rocket's evening, and Battleborn Leo Fox comes out with the win.
I think that's kind of how it had to be. Leo Fox, we want to see more of him. Ryan Von Rocket can pick up momentum out of thin air if he needs to.
Well, we already kind of continue his story in this episode beyond his match with Leo Fox, and we'll get to that here in a little bit too. But yeah, they both had their interaction in the ring, but that's not the end of the story for either of them. And I feel like there are going to be some new things coming up for that Ryan Von Rocket has to show us. I don't know. I'm just going by my gut instinct. I haven't heard anything. I just feel like he's back and he's got something to prove, and I'm here for it.
I think also that it takes a long time to detransition from the 80s hair metal rock and roll British guy to this version of Ryan Von Rocket.
A more serious modern take.
Yeah, and incrementally we've seen him drop here and that. And so now I think we've basically reached zero, to speak to your point. So now we can start adding stuff on in a different direction, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
At least you guys both got a copy of Can't Stop the Rock before he retired that as the Titantron. So you guys can listen to that non-rhyming song as much as you want.
That song.
Not in the studio.
That song rules. I already used one of my curse words. I was going to call it something more. I was going to call it something different, but song rules. It's rad. It's rad.
It's rad.
All right, so let's move along, shall we?
Adam Revolver confronts Doug Basham backstage and says that he wants Leo Fox and Shannon the Dude. I would say he didn't insist on getting them together. He knew they were going to be coming out together. He didn't think they were going to be in the ring together.
Yeah, that's one of the classic blunders when you make a wish.
Oh, yeah. Monkey's paw situation.
Yeah, you very much have to be careful on how you word it. He requested a match with Battleborn Leo Fox. He wanted a rematch with Shannon the Dude. Doug Basham happily grants him those requests. However, like we just said, he will be receiving them both at the same time. So at Thanksgiving Thunder, we are looking forward to a handicap match, 2-on-1, Battleborn Leo Fox and Shannon the Dude versus Adam Revolver. Our favorite thumb.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Adam Revolver wins that match.
I hope so. I think that would be great.
It's one of those Reese Cup situations.
I think it's going to be a big time babyface Adam Revolver performance, and the crowd's going to be super behind it. And
see?
He's one of the oldest. Everybody there at the end of the day has some sort of affection for Adam Revolver because he's been around for so long. So I think I would love to see a big babyface show off.
I want him to see I want to see if he can lay Shannon the Dude in the middle of the ring in the exact same spot that Al Snow did at the end of Wrestlers.
The end of Wrestlers.
Yeah, and we'll get that overhead camera. I still want the overhead camera that Wrestlers had, by the way.
Yeah,
dude, I will.
That would definitely take things to the next level. That's one of my favorite camera angles in wrestling.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it in a while, but so I haven't brought it up. But I want that. Goodness. All right, let's move along, shall we?
Tony Evans versus Will Austin for the third
Right to
fourth
say
week
you
in a
won.
row.
Yeah.
Will Austin ends up taking the victory. I say all of that to say that we can actually get into, so we can spend more time in the meat and potatoes of what happens between these three. I don't want to talk about the match as much as I want to talk about, even after all of the abuse, Jay De Niro still comes out to aid. Even after the offer of your own man,
Yeah.
Jay De Niro still comes out to aid Tony Evans. He ends up messing it up.
Well, I mean, kind of. I guess it depends on perspective because he had the loaded baked potato glove. He was ready to use it on Will Austin if given the chance, but Austin kind of reversed things and pushed Tony Evans toward Jay De Niro and
Rolled him up 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Jay didn't take the opportunity to use the loaded baked potato club on Tony.
Right.
No,
he also hesitated.
And he had an opportunity.
He stopped.
Yes.
He definitely stopped. But the fact that that distraction gave Will Austin enough time for the roll-up obviously didn't sit well
help.
with superior Tony Evans, and now the tension between the two is even higher. How long do you think we're going to see this, come to a head at Thanksgiving Thunder?
I have a question, actually. What do you guys think is more likely? A three-way dance between these three or a best of 7 between Tony and Will?
A best of 7 between Tony and Will.
Really?
It does feel like they're building that. We've seen them do this before.
Right. I don't know. I'm going the other way. I don't think that's very likely, but I could be wrong.
So
I'll try to remember that for predictions tomorrow.
That's okay.
My question is kind of twofold. Here's why I don't think it could be a best of 7, but I thought it was more likely than the other scenario. Do you think that the split has to happen in a match between Jay De Niro and Tony Evans, or does Tony Evans just go straight to Will? If the split has to happen in a match for Tony Evans, for Jay De Niro and Tony Evans, then three-way dance is more likely. If it doesn't have to happen in a match and Jay can just go join Will, then best of 7 is more likely.
Or not even join Will, just stand up to Tony and take him down with the loaded baked potato
I feel
glove.
like the idea of him just standing up and saying he's had enough is more likely than him just, going and fulfilling the same role for Will Austin, given the promise of, being able to be your own man.
Right. And is going to do something for Will Austin being your own man.
Not necessarily.
But Jay De Niro's character is money for hire, though. So I do think no matter what happens, I think he's going somewhere else.
I don't know. I kind of feel like, he's his own man. He's got his own, things he wants to do, goals to accomplish. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was out there, as a one-man assassin ready to take revenge on anybody and everybody for whatever reason.
I don't know if I perceive that in the character. Maybe in a babyface version of it. I don't know. Our one main event, tag team championship match between Peaches and Cream and the OVW, at least at the beginning of the match, OVW champions, the Blockbusters. Nah, they rule, dude. Those guys are goated.
I mean, they're fine people. Having met them, yes, as is almost always the case, the wrestlers are genuinely nice folks, and it's good to know them. But this gimmick.
Nah, it rules. It's the
I have to
best.
admit, adding the prop helped. I'm not going to lie. Adding the stupid crank camera, the fake crank camera, didn't hurt the gimmick. It made it a little better in my head, probably.
So there was 2 championship matches tonight. I think both of them were kind of easy to predict from a mile away, right?
Yeah, it pretty well seemed like that when...
And that's not a bad thing.
No.
That's not a bad thing at all. But it pretty much seemed, when... I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
Oh.
What were we going to say?
That's all.
Oh,
I just said that's all I was gonna say is it's not a bad thing.
no, it's not.
Well-
But I definitely got that vibe going into this
Right.
that the momentum was with Beaches and Cream.
Yeah, the momentum's been with Beaches and Cream
For weeks now.
Yeah, for weeks.
It was definitely there at the Bourbon Brawl, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Those guys
My
finished up
hat.
the night at the Bourbon Brawl.
Yeah, I still have to get my hat dry cleaned.
I am not even going to try to save that shirt. I think I'm just going to frame it and get everybody who was at the Bourbon Brawl to sign it. And that will be our very first unofficial event artifact.
It'll be your stickiest artifact.
We'll see.
But wasn't this a great match?
We
As much crap as I give the Blockbusters, this was an awesome tag team match.
It was Beaches and Cream kind of turned all the way up too. And whenever they're doing like the silly, stuff, it can be hard to forget like that they are like super duper good at wrestling. Like for me, like does that make sense? Do you ever feel that?
Oh
way
no, I totally
sometimes?
get it. You get lost in all the goofiness
Right.
because the goofiness is so good. They're so good at it.
Yeah.
You forget how deadly they can be in the ring.
And then they put on a string, between Omar and Luscious, both in singles and in tag performances these past, handful of weeks. You forget that they're silly, right?
Yeah.
Until
Yeah.
Luscious is like crawling around on all fours, like, like in the middle of a ring or whatever. I think it was the right choice right now. I think it was a big moment, and I think that Omar and Luscious like showing why they deserved it in this match.
Absolutely.
I am going to be curious who from the Revolution, will take the tag team place, because I don't think it'll be the Blockbusters. The next time we see the Revolution out there in the tag title conversation, but I'm curious. Do you have any ideas who might go together?
Like a tag team from the Revolution?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, no. Let me think about it for a little bit,
That
because
might be
everybody
when-
else seemed like going back to the Legion of Doom
Mhm.
comment or the discussion we had the other day. I feel like AJZ and Dalton McKenzie were the only quote unquote tag team in this group of suspects. I feel like everybody else is a successful individual, and I mean, just going off the top of my head, I don't know who those two folks would be. That would be like the next Revolution tag team.
I think that I'm not sure who the second person is in my mind, but I think with the first one's Leo Fox,
Okay,
because
and-
we've just been seeing so much
Yeah.
of him.
But who would?
And AJZ. That's
Well, I guess does that just make the most sense to just take the other former champion,
I
right?
guess. You could make an argument for that.
That'd be an intense side of the ring.
Is that? Let me ask you this: is that the tag team that you would want to see from the Revolution? Because I just came up with another one.
It's not. I could be convinced to see someone else.
so he got.
And this is just for me and what I would like to see. I like the missed match tag teams, so I would really like to see like Mount Kadeem and Star Rider have like the power and the high flying speed.
And belt him up double.
Why not?
I mean, Doug would love that.
Good
from a
on
storyline
Kadeem if he
perspective.
can make that happen.
Yeah, Doug would love that from a storyline perspective.
I mean,
and
think
also,
about it.
Also, in your scenario that we're discussing here, I think that it kind of puts Star Rider weirdly in a next level heavyweight championship conversation just by being around the world heavyweight champion.
There are a lot of a lot of doors could open up.
Yeah,
A lot of possibilities.
Interesting.
But for me, going back to when I was a kid, seeing Superfly Jimmy Snuka standing on the shoulders of Andre the Giant and doing the crossbody off the top rope, that was probably one of the coolest things I saw as a kid in a wrestling match. And
Definitely.
Once I was hooked into wrestling, we would go over to Maysville and rent all the Coliseum home videos multiple times, watched them all, studied them all, remembered all that stuff to the point where, my mom kind of get a little pissed at me, and we'd have to, stop renting them
Aren't
so
you
much.
gonna rent
because-
something else? Don't you want to rent something else?
Exactly. Yeah. Were you there?
There's a reason I was like, who should I get on this podcast? Oh yeah, Brian Hines loves wrestling.
Mine was Beethoven. That was the one. That was the one that. Don't you want to rent something else?
That's the difference between our generations. For you, when you were little, it was Beethoven. At the video store, when video stores were still a thing, it was all Coliseum home video. But this was at the advent of the VCR age, and we went with Beta.
Oh,
Yeah, we did too.
good choice. Good choice, guys. In retrospect,
I'm not going to take any crap on this because Beta is a superior
no. I mean,
quality
obviously.
product, and
Okay,
I will die on that hill. Anyway, at home in the Beta, all the stuff that we recorded, for me it was Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh, that's that one held up really well.
That
one's a good one.
For me, it was Star Trek 6. Just for
Is that the one with the whales?
no, that
that's
was
4. And it wasn't 2.
Is that the one where he
It
kills
wasn't
God?
the Wrath of
No,
Khan.
2's a downer. 6 ends on a triumphant note. Good guys win and ride off into the sunset. Who doesn't love that?
Yeah.
Speaking of good guys win and riding off into the sunset,
New champions this time in the form of beaches and cream. All
Yeah.
right. So let's talk about, I think, probably the most important moment of this entire match, and maybe the linchpin to the babyface turn, the last thing that had to happen in the babyface turn for Luscious and Omar, making good with Linda Kay.
Yes.
In the chat, people were talking about this, about Linda Kay putting them over on commentary. People, that moment of all, we're not going to go back on it. If you were there, you know what I'm talking about. That moment is going to stick out in people's minds for a long time on Beaches and Cream.
Absolutely, yeah.
I think that the moment of them going up the ladder, or up the ramp, rather, and creaming Linda Kay. Sorry. Didn't want to say that.
With dessert
The
spray
ready
with
whip.
topping.
The
yes.
whipped cream.
Right. Then I think that moment will equally stick out as much as the negative one.
That is probably the silliest redemption of any two individuals.
It was redemption.
I have ever
It was
seen.
redemption. It was full. I
Yeah,
love that word.
that is
That's
exactly what it
what it
is.
was. Yes, it was full circle redemption. Because I'm not. The thought occurred to me whenever she was putting him over on commentary. The thoughts occurred to me a bajillion times on this microphone.
It's always been in the back of my head.
Right. It's been in back of a lot of people's heads. People were talking about it in the chat. And that one moment, I love wrestling for just small things like that, where you have, in a storyline, you have a really, really beautiful human moment, right?
Yeah.
And let's not skip too far over the fact that referee Alice also got some cream
Right.
in this moment.
Right. Cream for everybody.
Cream all around.
It was a celebratory evening, and some people celebrate with toasts. Some people celebrate
This
with
really, truly
cans
is
of
a
whipped cream.
toast if you really
This
think
is
about
a
it.
whipped cream toast.
You gotta
So,
love it.
yeah, there's that.
Let's get into hour 2.
Yeah, because we are about at our hour. Let's see, as the hour 2 is the beginning of the we
The
see
fatal
the men
four-way.
we see the men in the ring already.
Yes.
So we don't know the entrances. We don't know who came out in what order. But
So it doesn't matter.
But the match is between Maximo Suave, Hoda Peso, Super Z, and Icon Lee. You don't see a lot of Icon Lee in the match. He makes his presence known advantageously, I would say, right? Is that the right word? No, he's a heel.
Technically.
He's a heel. He's cheating, right?
Well, yeah, that's essentially what you're trying to say. But I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Right. And I think that, this is – you have 3 other guys in here that you've seen a lot of. Maximo, Hoda, and Super Z. I think that this is also like a super duper ready-made match because you have Maximo and Hoda in the middle of it, and it's a 4-way banger for a Rush Division contender, right? It's always going to be – these are the 4 guys you want, honestly, for a 4-way banger of the Rush Division. The other guy that you want, one of them just got back from Japan, and one of them's on the commentary desk.
Yep.
So, I mean, dude, it's a number 1 contenders match for the Rush Division. It's the easiest thing in the world to book. You put all your best guys in there, then they go, and then you choose who wins. You don't even have to tell them what to do, right?
And in case anybody out there was wondering about what you just said, Orion just got back from Japan.
Right.
And Star Rider was on commentary.
commentary.
Those would be the two missing pieces. Otherwise, more often than not, over the course of the last year, we've seen like a six-man ladder match or some other variation of that. But with Star being on commentary and Orion being elsewhere, then we have this fatal four-way match.
I'll go ahead and say I just described it as a four-way banger for the Rush division. I think everybody that watches OVW knows exactly what that phrase means, right?
Sure.
Icon Lee takes the victory since we're running a little low on time. I did like the pairing of Icon Lee. I did like the pairing of Icon Lee and Super Z, kind of the superhero versus like the monster guy. I would like to see more of that in the future, but the new number one contender for the Rush division is Icon Lee.
Wow.
Surprisingly, honestly.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
But he's the one that you've seen the least of, and I think that I don't think he has any shot at winning it. But I think that a match with Star for it will be, you can see maybe a little bit more what he's made of, right?
I'm sure. Yeah. Did they say whether or not that was going to be at Thanksgiving?
No, they haven't announced.
I would imagine, but I don't know.
Just based on how the match played out, no, I kind of figured that's what they would be building to. But who knows? We could see a match at Seasons Beatings. We could see a match at Christmas Chaos.
Yeah, we've got a lot of. We're near the end of the year, but a lot of time left.
Target-rich environment as far as places where matches can happen.
After the end of that match, Icon Lee taking the victory, as I said, we see Ryan and Katie and Doug meet in the hallway. Katie kind of shrugs Ryan off as the same way that she did to Crystal last week.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she got Crystal beat up, so it was a little worse. But
burning all her bridges.
Burning all of her bridges, right. This is a brand new Katie Gannon is what we're supposed to take away from that.
Ryan Von Rocket looked genuinely hurt. I felt really bad.
I kind of did too.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think about it. You're out and you see a friend that you haven't seen in a long time, and you go to say hey, and you're excited to see him, and they just kind of like give you that look, like, what do you want?
Yeah, I had a moment like that around this time last year. It was Thanksgiving last year. I'll tell you about it off mic.
All right.
Doug is mad at Linda in the ring, and Freya for disrespecting Katie. Katie comes to the ring, or Katie's in the ring. Freya comes to the ring. Katie grabs the mic over and over, same gimmick she did earlier that we were talking about. Calls for Hollywood Haley J. Haley J shows up and talks trash, and Katie makes the match. We'll have a face versus face match at the.
No, this is right then.
This is right then?
Yeah, this is what happens.
Because this is the one women's match from
Yes.
the
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. She orders them
I'm so
to
sorry.
be a tag team and announces that J-Rod and a new addition to the Revolution makes a debut. And how do you pronounce her name?
Hang on.
That's right. I totally forgot because we got the new girl, Tatovic.
Tatovic, yes.
Okay, I actually had a lot to say about her.
She trained with J-Rod with Rikishi, so that's where she comes from.
So I've been waiting, and I think OVW's been long overdue for like a no-nonsense MMA type gimmick. Like, what's her name? The tag team with Ronda Rousey.
Oh, Shayna Baszler?
Yes, like a whoop-ass woman gimmick. Like a no-nonsense woman gimmick, right?
Yeah.
And that, like, I just think it's because that's like very modern wrestling. That's like what's in AEW. That's what's in WWE. Is these kind of MMA style, no nonsense, come in and beat you up women. We have a lot of those on the men's side. It's nice to see one on the women's side.
You don't see that as often as you do see that from the men, but
Right.
Yeah.
But it's at the big boys.
Yeah.
So I like to see it at other places. And I think that it was smart to bring in, if you're going to bring in another person, a woman into the Revolution, to bring her completely in from the outside.
Yeah.
And have her be as different from J-Rod in almost any way possible.
Yeah.
Right?
And, I mean,
Other than
this is the first time I've seen her, so I don't
Yeah.
know anything about her. I haven't gotten a chance to do any research or anything.
Didn't know anything about her other than looking at her and that she looked tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she
This
looked
was a great match.
tough.
This turned into a pretty great match,
Yeah,
too.
Freya and Hollywood. Sorry, I'm all over the place today, guys. they've known each other for a long time. They have great chemistry. I think that they hang out. I see them kind of posting on Instagram when I'm on our account, hanging out together. So I think that they have a lot of chemistry in and out of the ring. But for me, it was all about kind of the debut of Tatovic here.
It was very impressive.
Very impressive.
And they did get the win here and kind of dominated this match, really.
Yeah,
No
there was no tag team cohesion really on the part of Freya.
Well, they had no prep
and
time.
Haley. Yeah,
You
they
know,
had
they
no
were
prep
just out
time.
there
That's just what happens when you go into something on the fly and you're just hit with, okay, and action.
Well, these refs are blind.
What?
These refs are blind out here. See, I'm getting ready for UK.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
No, but really, they were cheating, and he was turned in the corner trying to. Yeah, I mean, he really was, and he was blind too.
Yeah, that's pretty standard.
Yeah, J-Rod and Tatovic take the victory. Good stuff. Good stuff here. Good stuff here.
More importantly, long-term storytelling, I feel like there's going to be a really, really good, long feud between Freya and J-Rod.
Yes,
And I'm very excited for that.
I think everybody's waiting on it. I
Yeah,
think everybody's waiting on that.
We didn't get a chance to talk about it a whole lot on Friday, but yeah, I feel like that is a very good possibility, and I am very much looking forward to it.
Penultimate match of the night. Non-title match between Donovan Cecil and the OVW heavyweight champion Mount Kadeem.
Accompanied by Shannon the Dude.
As always, because he's in the Revolution. What did you think about this match?
I mean, I think it was Josh Ashcraft that said this was just, a straight up old fashioned hoss fight. And yeah, you're absolutely right. Both of these guys are huge.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest in OVW.
Definitely.
Yeah. And I mean, it was, something that I hope that this was just part one of this, because I would like to see more.
Ring can't handle it.
Well,
Gonna have to get some boosts, some reinforcements.
So for me, kind of the story of Mount Kadeem and Donovan was not only the big hoss fight. I mean, you're going to get a ton of that. But there was a point where Donovan, not that Mount Kadeem is not athletic, obviously, but Donovan is athletic in a different category, just in a different way. And I loved kind of the story of, oh, we're equal, we're going back and forth. Donovan kicks into overdrive with his athleticism, and Mount Kadeem just says, I'm going to cheat. Like, I thought that was like the smartest, genuinely one of the funniest things that I've seen in wrestling that wasn't intentionally funny was Mount Kadeem just pulling Donovan's leg out from under him.
yeah.
So,
It's a quick and easy heel move.
Yeah,
Just
quick and easy heel
yoink.
move. Yeah. Also want to shout out to referee Alice tonight, because she was like on every match. It felt like it was just her and Shane. Seen a lot more of her recently.
Mm-hmm. Good for her.
Yeah, no, I think that's. I like seeing more faces. I like seeing more faces.
Yeah,
I like seeing more people given an opportunity. I think everybody kind of knew though going into it that Mount Kadeem was going to take the victory.
Oh yeah,
even if it was a non-title match. Revolution is Mount Kadeem's just too strong right now. He's being booked too strong, and Donovan doesn't lose anything from losing to the champion.
No, but I feel like one of these days he's going to have a chance to get some recompense about this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Donovan Cecil will be heavyweight champion in the year of 2025.
You think so?
Yeah.
2024 is the year of the Mammoth. Got to set the stage somewhere.
My dude, if it happens this year, I will lose my mind. I will absolutely lose my mind.
Well, so we need to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we need Donovan Cecil to get the belt.
And those two things, I know which one's more likely. 1,000 subscribers. Haha, Donovan. Haha, I got you. No, it's Donovan getting the belt. It's definitely Donovan getting the belt.
Hey, what's the main event of tonight's show, guys?
The match that everybody has been waiting for,
Since
right?
2002.
Since last week.
Since at the very beginning of the episode.
Right, since really at the very beginning
Since
of the
2
episode.
hours ago.
The main event of the evening. Dustin Jackson versus OVW media champion Tony Gunn. Dustin Jackson is, for me, the best face going in Ohio Valley Wrestling right now. He's got everything that you could possibly ask for. He's committed. He's built. He's good looking.
Plus, he's on a white-hot winning streak.
He's on a white-hot winning streak. He is ready-made. The people love him. People want to love him. He's easily loved.
Yeah.
He's got everything. He can put together a hell of a match. It's not all just, it's not all just aerial maneuvers. It's not all just drop kicks. It's suplexes. It's DDTs. This guy's all over the place, man.
There's a lot of sizzle.
Yeah, this guy's all over the place. Dustin Jackson is the best babyface going in Ohio Valley Wrestling right now.
Go check out an interview from him from the summer.
One of my favorite interviews, if not the favorite interview I've ever done. Dustin gave me so much that day, and it was
on our YouTube feed at youtube.com/@OVW.
It was such a pleasure.
You should think about subscribing if you get a minute,
Yeah.
It was such a pleasure to have him on that day. That interview is probably my favorite interview that I've ever done. I got into this whole thing. Doing the weekly show is fine. I only wanted to do interviews when I was here, and I said to Dustin at the end, you just dignified me being here. You just gave me what I wanted to do. He wanted to be a wrestler when he was growing up. I wanted to be an interviewer, and I wanted to do good interviews, and Dustin gave me an incredible interview. Go listen to that interview, seriously. It's back in our YouTube channel.
Don't let him fool you. At the end of the interview, you said, "You complete me with tears in your eyes."
It was close to that.
It was a very, I'm joking, but it was a very good interview and a very good talk just in general among just four guys that started off talking about wrestling, and it had all of the other different aspects of life in it. So
Sure.
It was one that I also enjoyed.
But Dustin Jackson taking home the victory over Tony Gunn here. It was time. Tony Gunn is a stalwart of OVW. Having a belt like that on him is just there to be taken off of him in a huge babyface moment like the one that he gave Dustin Jackson. And, I mean, to the end, I was on the edge of my seat. I was pacing around watching this last Thursday at Tiny Brian's.
And, seeing Tony Gunn get ready for the kill shot and Dustin Jackson with a couple of super kicks.
Yeah.
Stopping that momentum, you knew that it wasn't going to be the standard, Tony Gunn running through his opponent with another victory for the Revolution. You knew that Dustin Jackson had gravel and grit, and he came to win.
And I was not surprised that he won. I was, however, surprised at the fashion that he won, because I thought for sure he was going to squeak one out with one of these small packages that he's been winning with recently.
The roll-up pin, yeah.
Yeah.
Very convenient and handy.
He ends up going all the way to the top rope and hitting his frog splash. Maybe the best time he's ever hit it. One of the most pristine frog splashes this side of Art Bar.
But let's talk about what set that up as we're kind of wrapping things up. He had some help.
Yes. Cal Hero, who
His
had been
former
banned
Panty
from the
Pack
building,
partner.
runs in. They were, of course, tag team champions. He runs in, knocks Tony Gunn out with the referee out. Dustin Jackson is able to take advantage of the fanny pack knee and get the 1, 2, 3. Well deserved. Well deserved, man.
Congratulations.
Seriously, Dustin, been one of my favorite wrestlers at OVW since, for like, how long now? 3 or 4 years, I guess.
Since Will Austin.
Yeah. Well, I don't. When I was going before and they were the fanny pack party and stuff like that, I don't remember Will as much from those days. But Dustin, when I started going all the time, and the summer tour was going on around the time of Wrestlers on Netflix, I guess, was one of my favorite guys. I was so happy to see him back, and I was so happy to watch him win this here. I think there's a lot of people who deserve championships. I think Dustin got his. I hope to see some of the other people we talk about get theirs.
Yeah, he definitely earned it that night. That's for sure.
All right, guys. Great show this week at OVW. You guys, I always love listening to you guys talk about it. So thanks so much, guys. What a great show.
Are we doing post roll?
If you want, what do you want to do?
I'll do it. I asked. The OVW Podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling, is produced. Yeah, it's been so long. The unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling is produced by Blacklight Moon Productions at Nut House Studios in Lexington, Kentucky. The OVW Podcast broadcast team is me, Jackman Oaks, and him, Brian Hines. Our studio engineer and editor is Malachi P.S. Woodard. Executive producer is Tiny Brian K. Woodard. Senior producer for The Blimp is Victor Anderson. On Wednesday nights, catch the OVW podcast team, that's my friend here and I, as we host the OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. That's an unofficial OVW fan talk show on their YouTube channel.
No, it's official.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. It's official. Be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast, rate us 5 stars, and give us a review. You can also follow us at OVW podcast on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, Threads, and most importantly, subscribe to us on effing YouTube.
Please.
Come see us at Davis Arena.
We'll be there this week, we promise.